Perfect. So now I'm recording. Okay. So welcome everyone to the remote viewing course we're doing on April 15th, 2020. I'm just going to try to keep an eye on any new participants coming, but I think we're just pretty much right on time. So remote viewing is a way, what it is it's you're looking at things that aren't local. So you know when you use your eyes and you look at your window or someone in the room with you, that's local. Remote viewing is something that you can't see with your eyes. And it could be around the block, it could be halfway around the planet, around the planet, or it could even be somewhere off planet. And we're using, what we're doing, remote viewing, you use 3 different ways you can remote view. You can try to tune into the object itself and get information from that. You can tune into the field, which is just everything. Or you can actually tune into a person who has information. So there'll be an exercise later where I'm going to just focus on an image and you're going to get the information from me. So those are 3 kind of, there probably are more ways to remote view, but those are the 3 things. Whenever I do any kind of work, I always do like a little prayer. But what I might just recommend is if you just take a moment and just kind of ask for lovely protection and light around yourself, and that you are supported in what you're doing today and what you're seeing in a lovely, supportive, protective way. So just take a moment to kind of do that. So that's our intent. And our intent is to learn and grow from this experience and expand our awareness and our skills so that we can ascertain more of the truth. Hope that makes sense to everybody. Great. So how I came across remote viewing, when I was in New Zealand, someone gave me a free day pass to this, I think it was a consciousness expo or something. And I had a chance to choose some different courses. And this was a good 10 years ago. And I remember thinking, oh, remote viewing, that's kind of cool. So I went to the course, and the teacher, I loved him. And I remembered every single thing about the class that I took with him. And I remember just recently a neighbor of mine wanted to take a course, and she was saying, oh, it's a bit pricey. I said, well, what's on the course? And I said, well, I could teach you remote viewing. So I took her through everything, and I remembered everything from the course. And I thought, oh, I should show this to other people because it's so fun and easy. And especially if you've done any kind of energy work or healing work, or you're a good meditator, you might find this quite easy. So then that's what inspired me to do the workshop. But interestingly, coinciding with that, Dr. Stephen Greer's done a movie called CE5 recently, and he was mentioning a gentleman in the movie called Dr. Russell Targ, who is a good friend of his and taught people in the military how to do remote viewing back in the 50s and 60s in Stanford, and maybe even the 70s as well. And so what happened was, I was thinking, I can't remember the name of that guy that taught us. I thought, he is American. I remember it was Stanford he mentioned. So it turns out when I watched the movie, I'm like, oh, that is that guy, because I totally recognize his hair and his accent and his way. So the techniques I learned that I'm going to pass on to you, they used to teach to people in the military. And the interesting thing that one of the recent interviews with Dr. Stephen Greer, he mentioned that Dr. Russell Targ had wished that instead of doing military work, he'd done what Dr. Stephen Greer is doing, and Dr. Stephen Greer is teaching a lot of people how to connect in different ways with different energies. And one thing Dr. Russell Targ said too, that Dr. Stephen Greer passed on, was that in the military they train all these people up, but then a couple times they just went to like average Joes on the street and said, hey, come on in and try this remote viewing, and they did just as well as the trained remote viewers. So that was also, when I was watching this, I'm like, oh, this is good, we should, yeah. And so why aren't we all learning this? This is really important. But of course, part of our world at the moment revolves around keeping things secret, but I think that is changing. So I wanted to kind of share a little bit of what I knew so that we can kind of empower ourselves a bit more. Hope that I just thought I'd cover the history of it a little bit. I'm just going to read my notes here. So yeah, so basically I think we'll just kind of hop on into it. We might make this, might be quicker than an hour, we'll see. And at the end, when we do the 3 different techniques, We might even have time to look at some things together jointly as a collective if you want to as well. So we can maybe put that in the back of our minds. So first, what I'll get you to do is we're just going to get a little bit relaxed. We'll just do a quick guided meditation just to help you get into your body. And then we're going to scoot into something that helps expand your awareness. And then I'm going to do 2 remote viewing things with objects and one that I'm going to hold an image in my head. So yeah, by that might lead us to an hour or even less than an hour. We'll see. But okay, so just I'll get you to get relaxed and take a couple nice deep breaths. And just gently draw your awareness as you're breathing to the top of your head, the sides of your head, and the back of your head. And also gently draw your awareness to your face, your forehead, your eyebrows, your eyes, the muscles around and behind your eyes, your nose, your cheeks, your ears, your lips, teeth, and tongue, and your chin and your jaw and the muscles of your jaw. And also gently draw your awareness to your neck, the front, sides, and back of your neck. And breathe into all those spaces. And on the next few exhales, release any tension from those spots. And on the next few breaths, gently draw your awareness to your shoulders, your upper arms, your elbows, your lower arms, your wrists, hands, and fingers. And also gently draw your awareness to your back, your upper, middle, and lower back, into your chest, abdomen, and pelvis. And breathe into all those spaces. And on the next few exhales, release any tension from those spots. And on the next few breaths, gently draw your awareness to your hips, your buttocks, your upper legs, your knees, your lower legs, your ankles, heels, feet, and toes. And breathe into all those spaces. And on the next few exhales, release any tension from those spots. Now I'll just get you to be aware of your the outer area of your body and the area around you in the room. And I'd like you to expand your awareness from inside and outside your body so that your awareness and your consciousness is filling the whole room that you're in. So you're feeling the ceiling and the corners of the room and the walls and the floor, and feeling how big or how small or how whatever shape your room is. Really expanding your field of senses to the size of your room. And then I'd like you to expand your awareness to the size of your home. So whether that's an apartment or a house, a townhouse, Expand it so you're as big as your house, or as big as the apartment building, or as big as the office building, wherever you are. And feel how much bigger that feels. You might even pick up on the people around you in different parts of your building. And then I'd like you to go to the roof. Imagine yourself popping up to look at the roof of your building or house. Just look at the top of it. Just observe or feel or understand or know what the roof of your house looks like. And then we're going to expand. We're going to go big, and we're going to go expand as big as your city. So wherever you're living, expand as big as a city. And then you're going to go, if you're in Canada, go as big as your province, or if you're in other parts of the world, as big as your local area, whether it's the North Island, New Zealand, or wherever you are, just go big, expand. And then also expand, if you're North America, expand to all of North America. Or if you're in Europe, expand to all as big as Europe. Or in the South Pacific, just expand and include as much of the South Pacific area as you'd like. And you might find you back up a bit off the planet when you do that. And then I'd like you to back up your awareness off the planet even more and look at the whole planet itself from quite far up. And find an altitude that's comfortable for you. And really look and feel the planet. You might find yourself going in close to the planet, and you might find yourself coming out again, but find an altitude where you can feel like you can really see all the planet and all its splendor. And if you don't see it, you can feel it or know it that it's there, and know that your awareness is still in your body, but also off the planet a bit. And just kind of observe it. And then when you're ready, start to feel your awareness come down towards the continent you're on, or the area of the planet you're on, the large area. And then also feel yourself going down to the city where you're from at the moment. Feeling that. And then going to the roof of your house. And then go into your room, big as your room. And then moving down back towards your body. Feeling yourself settle right back into your body. And feeling the outer part of your body, your skin. And if you want, you can even move your body a little bit, wiggle your hands and feet. Feel yourself really scooching back in there. And if you feel a little ungrounded, just also imagine a beautiful cord of light going from your tailbone and your feet. So 3 cords of light going down, down, down to the center of the earth, just to reground yourself. Because that can be a ungrounding experience. Cool. So how was that? We'll give yourself a minute to come back, but does anybody want to share how that felt for them? There's I believe there's like a little hand, like a raise your hand thing in the if you go to the bottom of the screen. I believe if you go to participants, you can raise your hand, or you can just raise your hand like that, and I'll see it. If you want to share how that was for you. Okay, Daphne. Okay, cool. Let me see if I can unmute you.
I'm unmuted already.
Oh, you're okay. Perfect. Oh, you did it yourself. Okay, perfect.
I've used Zoom a few times. that was an amazing experience. As soon as you started with us and I took my first deep breath in, tingles all through my body. I was like, yes, this is awesome.
Good,
So
good.
yeah, and as I expanded, it just the tingles and the yawning and the releasing, and it was amazing. So thank you.
Good. Oh, awesome. No, you're welcome. Anybody else want to share before we go into the next exercise? No, I don't see anybody else, so we're just going to pop into it. But hopefully that felt good for you. And if you're, does anyone feel ungrounded or a bit weird or dizzy? I just want to make sure no one's feeling weird or dizzy, because that can, you know, make you feel. So yeah, so what that exercise does, that I didn't learn from Dr. Russell Targ, but it helps you kind of see how big you can go, and we could even go further. But I think for the purposes of today, we just kind of want to just stretch your arms consciously to see how far you can go. Okay, so now we're going to start the first exercise. What I'm going to do, if you have your pen and paper handy, this could be handy. What I'm going to get you to do is, because now in the workshop, what we did is everybody got a brown paper bag, and we all went outside and put something in their brown paper bag. And when we came back in, we had a partner, and then we each traded bags, and we just held the bag and tried to ascertain what was in it. But since none of us are in the same room, I'm going to put the computer here. I have a bag prepared right there with an item in it. So what I'd like you to do is, you can close your eyes, and again, we're just going to expand. You're going to expand your awareness, and you're going to expand your awareness to that bag. And you can feel into that bag. Now, I'm located in Alberta, Canada, a small town called St. Albert, just outside Edmonton. But you can right now just go, I'm going to focus on that bag. I'm going to look in that bag and use all your 5 senses. So your sight, your feeling, your hearing, use all those senses and just start to feel what this object in the bag feels like. And if you want to start drawing anything, and don't think about it, just go with the feeling. Don't analyze it, just go for it. And I'm going to be quiet for a couple minutes, and then I'll check back in. And one thing to remember is your first impressions are really the ones to go for. Now, how's everybody doing? I'm kind of peeking around here. Does everyone feel like they've got some things that they saw? You might not know exactly what it is, and I'd be surprised if you did, but if you do, great. But it's more, if you have some sort of shapes or feeling or sense of what it could be. Does everybody have, if I can get a thumbs up if you have some idea of something written down? Can I get a thumbs up if you have something written down? Cool. Does anybody want some more time? Okay, okay. I'm going to bring it back here. So does anybody, I'm going to unmute you all for a moment. We'll give this an experiment, see how this goes. If it's too loud, I might have to mute you and do the individually. Does anybody want to share what they've picked up so far. And again, this is the first time maybe you've ever remote viewed, so be easy on yourself. It's not about perfection, but it's to show you what you're able to pick up because it's hiding, right? And does anybody want to share?
Hi, I can share if you want.
Sure.
Hi, I'm UFO detective or John Smythe. So I have three things so far. Two of the things are similar because it has a roundy feel to me. It feels a bit, or it looks a bit, in my mind, it looks a bit round. So I'm thinking a teapot, a ball, and
There's roundness to it. I will say there's roundness to it. So does anyone else get some roundness to their feeling? Okay, so people got some roundness. So give yourself a big pat on the back, everybody. You picked up one aspect of this this physical object that is in the middle of Canada in a brown paper bag in my bedroom. So, okay, good. Keep going, John.
oh yeah, and then just the other one was a notebook and pen for some reason, but it could be a pen with a roundy bit on the end of it.
Oh, like you saw a notebook and pen. Oh, you're probably picking up on my on my notebook and pen that I have on another table. So you're very good.
Oh,
you expanded your view even more so. So yeah, you might have picked up on this, but it was kind of close to the bag. So very good.
Oh, cool.
Very good, John. So yeah, you're definitely getting, and you're close. You're very close. Anybody else want to share anything else they got?
Feeling in the bag and smelling sweetness. So I go with it.
Okay. Oh, you're a bit quiet. Can you go a little closer to the mic on your? Is it Tanya who's speaking?
Oh, yes, it is me.
Hi, Tanya. Lovely to hear from you. Speak a little bit louder because we can't quite hear you.
I thought there was actually something sweet in the bag. I was feeling something sweet.
Okay, cool. Well, you know what? I'll tell you something later, but you are right. That's crazy, but I'll tell you something a little bit later about that. Tanya, that's amazing. And actually, I totally forgot about that.
Awesome.
I'll tell you guys at the end. Remind me, Tanya, that's very good because it's not in the bag anymore. Okay, I'll tell you a little bit. I had something in the bag and then one of my daughters put some like Easter egg wrappers in it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm glad I checked the bag before. I'd like, oh my gosh, it would have had all these crinkly Easter egg wrappers in it. So I've taken all the Easter egg wrappers out, but there'd be an essence of the sweetness in there, Tanya. Yeah. So good on you. Because I was like, oh, and maybe I didn't get all the wrappers out of there. But anyways, so there's sweetness in there. So you must have used so there is such a thing as Claire Gooseness is taste. Claire, I forget the Claire is, but you can actually, people can smell remotely. So you've done something there, Tanya, with these two senses, subtle senses. So good on you. that was an unintended side effect of the children just using a bag as a garbage bag when it was actually my experiment bag. Okay, cool. Anybody else pick up anything else?
I actually felt something fun. I felt it was something fun. And so at first I thought it was a flower, then I thought it was a candle, then I thought maybe it's a coffee cup. Maybe there's a sunflower on the coffee cup and there's a candle in the coffee pot with a smiley face on it. Hang on. But then I was like, no, I think it's a crystal. Maybe it's a crystal.
Okay, you're very close on a lot of those too. There's an aspect of, it almost looks like a cup. There is a crystalline aspect to it. And I'm going to show you guys in a second. I'm not going to torture you too much longer, but I just wanted to give you guys a chance to kind of see where we're going here. Anybody else want to share? Very good, Daphne. Give yourself a pat on the back on that one too. Anybody else want to?
Elizabeth, I had a really interesting, I got that it was like a sphere shape. And for some reason, I feel like there's almost like a button that clicks, it clicks something open and shut, and that was just what I was receiving. So I don't know, it feels
the sphere, you know what, when you see it, you'll know where you got the sphere shape from. You'll know when you see it. I'll show you in a second. I'll try to cover everything when I show you. Anyone else want to share before I reveal okay, Kathleen?
Yeah, for me, I got the roundness, but I got like a bit of gold as well, like gold and fine. Those were the
Mm.
things I picked up.
Okay, like a
I
fine feeling.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and it is a fine material. So yes, okay, gotcha. Anybody, so pat on the back again, Kathleen. Anybody else? Okay, I'm good. I just can't stand the suspense. So, okay. So what it is, and all of everything you guys said was pretty much right. It is a candle holder, but it's a very interesting shape. It looks like a cup. It's got a spear type shape to it. Crystalline or fine material. And of course, like I was saying it does have a little bit of a smell of chocolate in there, but that wasn't intended. And it could be like a button because it looks like it kind of this is candle wax, but there's kind of that feel of it being a button. So anyway, so if you guys had anything that was shaped like this at all in any aspect, and like teapot, it's actually like, it looks like it could be a teapot or a cup. So good on you for anybody who got anything remotely similar to this, because it was in a paper bag in Canada. So good on you for doing that. And of course, if it's your first time remote viewing and you got anything that looks something like this, good on you. All right, so that was the first little experiment. And again, you guys can do this experiment with your friends. Like call up your friends, say, hey, let's do this. And because practice makes perfect. And also, just so you know, like remote viewers, like I've watched interviews too with remote viewers, and they do also, like they'll, depending on what I don't know exactly, they get a location or a coordinate, and then they'll see stuff and they won't know what they're seeing. They'll be like, oh, there's a jagged bit and then there's a smooth bit. Like you're not going to get an image necessarily. Maybe you might. You're not going to get an image of the full complete picture. It's almost like you get little pieces at once, if that makes sense. Like say a person's remote viewing in the military, say they're remote viewing a plant in somewhere in Russia. They might see like a round dome, and then they might see some long things, and and eventually they can piece it together, or they're just telling the people who already know what it is a little bit about it. So if that makes sense, I'm just going to get the next thing kind of set up here. 1 second. Okay, so the next thing, so when Dr. Russell Targ did this experiment, he had an object at the front of the room covered, and I'm going to do the same thing. So this is very similar to the last one we did, but it is a different object, so it'll give you a different kind of thing. And again, just engage all your senses. So close your eyes for a moment and just kind of get centered again. And also imagine your high, the top of your head connecting to source. And you're going to want to connect into the field, and then you're going to want to directly connect to this object, and it is again on the little box in my room, and it's something that's underneath a cloth. And just start to feel and see and hear whatever you can is under that cloth. And just first impressions are fantastic, even if it doesn't have to make any logical sense. Just write it down, and they'll be, and feel the different, because the object, feel the different. There's a height to the object and a width, and there's different shapes within the object. So just go for it, and I'll be quiet for a couple minutes again while you guys do that. All right. So if you need if anyone needs another minute or two, you can kind of keep focusing on that object. I'm going to move the camera though, but you don't need the camera to do what you're doing. Okay. So it looks like everybody's got their eyes open that I can see. So I'm just going to unmute you all again. And does anybody want to share what they might have felt for this one? This one's a little bit more complex in shape and things, but thought I'd give you a little bit of a different challenge. Does anybody want to share what they got? And again, you might not know what it is, and that's not the thing. It's more to see what you can ascertain about the shapes and things. So anyone who want to go for it?
I have a lot again.
Okay, thanks so much.
Okay. Something that I've done is sort of break it up into, it must be the little bit of Aries in me because I like lists and stuff, you know. So I broke it up into sight, sound, touch, smell, and taste.
Mhm.
For me, sight is, I would say it's awkward looking. Sound, a squeaky noise on a dragged floor.
Okay.
Touch, plastic or stone, uneven surface.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Lumpy, possibly cold.
Yep.
Smell, nothing. Taste, nothing. And I say it's a it's a statue or either a static toy of a horse or a donkey.
You know what, you're very close. I'm not going to say much else, but you've gotten a lot of aspects of it. You'll see it when I unveil it, but very good, John. And that's a great technique you guys can kind of put in your mind. You can kind of just go, okay, what do I taste? What do I smell? Oh, what do I feel? What is it made of? You can kind of go down the list of all your senses. So that's a great one. Thanks, John. Thank you so much, John, for
No problem.
spearheading it. Yeah, you'll find you were quite close. You'll find you were quite close.
Cool.
Mhm.
Great.
Okay. Next, okay, Mel.
Yeah, I also felt it was really like angular, or it didn't feel smooth, and it felt like there was parts or pieces to it.
Yep.
I thought it might have been tin or metal or something like that, but it felt cold.
Yep.
And I thought it might have been a trophy or something.
Very close. Yes, very close. Yeah. I don't want to give too much away, but yes. And remind me, Mel, to say something about the pieces because it's not obvious. Again, it's kind of like what Tanya did. There's some aspect there that you wouldn't necessarily know, but remind me at the end. Actually, I'll write down too, I want to because the thing about the pieces, I want to let you know you are right about that, but it won't look like pieces when you see it. But I'll mention that in a minute. Okay. Anything else?
No, not
Okay, well,
really.
good. Okay, pat yourself on the back, Mel and John. Good job. Okay. Anyone else want to share what they got? Daphne?
Well, when I first looked at it, I thought it was a book, and then I heard jewelry box. I'm like, no, it's got sharp corners. There's sharp edges on it, and it feels like there's drawers, maybe shelves. Then I'm like, no, it's a big crystal. So that's
Daphne, you're gonna laugh. All those things they are. It has aspects of what you're saying. It could be something that you'd see in a jewelry box. It looks like there's a shelf on it. It's crystal. There's an aspect that could what you're seeing. I know what you're seeing. I don't want to say it right away, but there's something to it that's would make you think it could be a crystal. Yes.
So
Pat yourself on the back. Very good. Very good. Okay. Anyone else want to go? I know. And of course, everyone's explaining something that sounds so different, but when you see it, you'll be like, oh, they all were picking up on different features of this thing. So I know it's right now you're probably going, what? How can they all be right? But they are actually all right. Everyone so far. So
Tara saw a book too.
Huh?
Tara just wrote that she saw a book too.
Oh, sorry. Say that one more time.
Tara said that she saw a book too.
Oh, book. Okay, I think you guys are picking
That
up on
window.
you're picking up on my little book by the
Must be.
computer. And you know what? It's because I'm putting the book kind of below it's below the eye line of the camera. So you guys are both, yeah, you're all good. You're all so good. Okay, anyone else want to share? No, you want to reveal? Yeah, okay, here's the reveal. So actually, I'll do it like this so it's more dramatic. So, so what it is it's, I'm going to bring it closer. It is, actually, I'll do this. It's a little statuette that my girls had. But what it is it's quite sparkly. There's a lot of sparkles on it. So Daphne, about the crystalline thing, it is flat on the bottom, kind of like terraced. And this is something you kind of see similar to something in a jewelry box. There's a lot of flow and angles to it. And it is cold to the touch. It kind of feels like stone, or it's probably a mixture of plastic and something. And Mel, when you said it was in pieces, well, you know what? I don't know if you guys could see, it got broken by my kids, and my husband stuck it together with crazy glue. So it was at one point broken. And actually it used to have wings, and the wings broke off too. So it was at one point pieces. So that's kind of like what Tanya picked up with the chocolate, that you were picking up traces of something that it was like at one point it was in pieces. And so you're picking up those lines of breakingness in the pattern. And when you said donkey or horse, John, it does look like it could be tails, like donkey tails, horse manes. It's got that feeling of like a horse kind of, if that makes sense. I could see why you would pick that up. I don't know if you guys can, so I don't know if that makes sense. And if you look at the bottom, it's got like just flat on the bottom. And from the top, it's kind of looks like that. So, you know, if you got anything that kind of looked remotely like waves or angles, or, yeah. And this one's a harder one, but I just thought, yeah, so it'd be interesting to see if you picked up, because you're not going to necessarily see this in its totality, but maybe you did. But yeah, so there you go. I hope that does anybody have any questions about that? Or do you want to make any comments now about what you saw, and now that you've seen it, you'll be like, oh, that makes sense.
I think, yes. Yeah, that's great. That's spot on, because it does look like a horse with the, you know, especially the, that there's what I was visualizing was the mane.
Yes, like that's what I mean. Like you could assume that. And I think that's the thing with remote viewing. You don't want to, you're going to get images of stuff because your mind wants to go, oh, I see something kind of flowy. What is that? And for our purposes, it's good to do that. But I think when they do it in military stuff, they don't let them assume, if that makes sense. But at the same time, we're not the military, so and we're having fun today. But anyway, so that's that one. Okay, now the last one, this is going to be interesting as well. We're not going to do an object.
Elizabeth, can I just interrupt you for a second?
Oh, sure, please do.
Somebody just asked, what's the statue's name?
Oh, sorry, I'm not reading the comments. I'm not being very good. Okay. What's the statue? Oh, you know what? I don't think it is. I just picked it because it was one of my girls' things, but also I picked it because it's a little more feminine, kind of like divine feminine feeling to it. Like, that's why I picked it, just because it had that kind of feeling, if that makes sense. So there's no, it just, to be honest, I bought it at the grocery store. I saw it and the girls fell in love with it and they're like, I like that. Because it was very feminine, it had wings, and so I just bought it for them because it wasn't too expensive and it was just pretty. You know, little girls like pretty things, but both of them have broken several times. So anyways, but yeah, so just something fun to do, but quite beautiful and flowy, which is I think what attracted the girls to it. Okay, so the next one, the last one of the day, okay, we're kind of on time here, which is great. The last one of the day, just give me a moment. And sorry, I'm not very good with the comments. I hope I haven't missed anybody's comments. And then apple, you know what? There very well could have been an apple in that bag at some point in if I don't know if apple was for the first one, but there could have, that bag has been in our house for a while and there could have been an apple in it at one point. So honestly, whoever picked up apple, It could have happened. Okay, so the last one, give me one moment. And so in the workshop, Dr. Russell Targ had a picture in his mind. He'd taken a picture and he was going to show us the picture of some place. And so I have a picture in my mind. I'm going to go look at it now. I'm not going to screen share it till the end. I better not. So give me one moment. I hope I don't screen share it by accident. I'm just going to open up this image. So what the image, oh, I better mute you guys too. I'm going to be looking at an image. So in this case, you're not going to be focusing on the field per se. You're not going to be focusing on the field. You're going to be focusing on me and getting the information from me. Now, okay, 1 second here. I'm just going to mute you guys for a second. I'm just trying to get back into Zoom. Zoom. Okay. Sorry for the technical delay here. For some reason, I can only see one person. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so I haven't lost you guys. I just can't seem to bring up the screen of everybody. So I don't, for some reason, I can't bring up the screen of everybody at the moment, but I'm just going to, if you could just take a moment, and we're going to do this for, again, a couple minutes. You're going to focus on me, and I'm going to basically look at this picture that I've chosen randomly. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to try to write down what you feel, taste, hear, sense, smell.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do we look at you and focus on you and try
Yeah,
to?
you can focus on me and look at me, or you can just focus on me. You don't even have to look. You can close your eyes and focus on me, because you're going to get the information from my field, and I'm going to put it in the field a little bit for you guys, just to help out. I'm going to like really feel the picture and see it, but you guys are going to pick it up from me. So like how when you guys just picked it up from under the cloth or in the bag, you're just going to go to me and pick up this feeling that I'm sending out right now. So we'll all be quiet for about, I can't seem to mute anybody. I can't find the Zoom screen again, but I'm just going to do this for about 3 or 4 minutes. And then, yeah, same thing, write down whatever your first impressions are. Because I'm putting out information, or you're picking up on things I'm seeing. And that's totally something that we can do as well. And if you guys want to mute yourselves, you can, because I somehow can't mute you at the moment. But if you guys want to mute yourselves, you can. And it's in the bottom left-hand corner. You just click on that microphone. And if you guys want to mute yourself, if you think you're making noise, feel free to mute yourself in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. And also one thing you can do too, which might just popped in my head, you can look at the future time when I show you this image and get it from that time as well. And that might seem far-fetched, but you can, when I eventually do figure out how to show you and screen share this screen, you're going to see it with your eyes in a few moments. You can connect to that energy as well of when you see it and you go, oh. So that's going through time as well and space, because we can do that too. What does it feel like? Smell like, taste like, sound like? Is it big? Is it small? What shape does it have?
I'm like super excited to share what I see.
Okay, so everyone, I'm looking at people and seeing, I figure out how to get back to the page, thank goodness. Great, so I'm going to ask everybody to kind of come back into it, and I'm going to just try to figure out here how to screen save. You're probably going to see let me see here, how can I do this? Okay, perfect. All right, so before I screen share it, does anybody want to share kind of any little impressions they got? Oops. Does anybody want to share any impressions they got?
I would love to share. I got joy. Okay, so I'm going to just read the words that came. Joy, happiness, kids playing, flowers, sun, green, mountains, waterfall, beautiful forest. That's what I got.
And good you wrote those down, because you're going to see a bunch of those that are right. a bunch of those. Like there's a couple, I don't want to say which ones aren't right, but there's like, say there's 10 of those, you probably got 8 out of 10 of those, let's just say.
Yes.
So good, pat on the back, stop, pat yourself on the back. Okay, anybody else want to share?
Me again.
John, perfect, thank you.
I first got a field of flowers, and then I got an ice, or sorry, like a skating rink, like a stone.
Like flat, kind of flat water. Mm-hmm.
And then I got a fountain.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You'll notice some of those are on the list of what, like you'll see. Yeah, for sure. You've gotten a couple of those for sure, John.
And I had a taste of salt.
Very good.
And yeah, I think that was it.
Okay, well, you're gonna give yourself a pat on the back when. Oh.
Sorry, playground.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. You and Daphne picked up on play, and that is something you'll see when I show you. Very good. Pat on the back. Pat on the back. Anybody else want to share? Mel?
The first thing I had was a panoramic kind of view, like a wide
Very good. Mm-hmm.
sort
Very
of
good.
thing, and it felt like it could be a beach, or I felt like there was water. And I too then had this, I felt like it was very relaxing to look at, and very calming, and but I then strangely, like this man said, had like almost like a rushing water sort of
feeling. Yeah.
thing. He had the fountain. I thought there might have been, I don't know, suddenly I sort of had almost like trees and things, and rushing water somewhere. So
very good. Yeah, you're gonna be pleased when you see the picture. Yeah, good on you, Mel. Pat on the back. Okay. Anything else on that one, Mel? Or
no, I had birdsong, but you know, I don't know why I had that.
That one I won't
I
be
just
able
had
to
that
corroborate
relaxing,
with it.
yeah.
But interesting. I had a song in my head and I couldn't stop having a song in my head, but I thought maybe it was helping me focus on the picture for you guys. So I just let it go. So if you guys heard a tune, but also with the picture, someone could have been here in the picture. There could have been bird song, but I don't know. I didn't take this picture. So just, that's a good thing to note, Mel. There could have been birds making noises when this picture was being taken that you're picking up on, but I can't. That one I can't corroborate. Okay, anyone else want to venture out, or you just want to, if no one else ventures out, then I'll see if I can screen share this successfully. Okay, you guys are ready? This is the last one of the day. Let me see. Come on, Elizabeth. Let's see what we can do here. Okay. And I'm gonna screen share. Screen share. Did it, I think. Share. That's the image. Can you guys see that?
No.
No.
Darn it.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Oh.
you can. You can see it.
Oh. There's the waterfall.
So that's the waterfall, the play,
The joy,
Yeah.
the
the
happiness.
joy,
The salt.
salt, the water, you know, and also when you saw the flat rink, John, that would be I would think you're kind of seeing the horizon of the water.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That's that when you said that, I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
he's seeing, because water is not usually that flat. You would think it was ice. So do you see what I mean when you kind of go, you assume things, but you just kind of go with what you feel and see and hear. Don't assume right away, I'd say. Just go, I feel like flat water or something. Yeah.
Look
That's
at you,
okay.
Nicola, you're right on point.
No. So what do you guys, so does that make sense for other people too? Is there anybody else that wants to comment? Like now that you've seen the image, does it
Look
kind
at
of
the
make
chat
you go,
Elizabeth, look at the chat window.
oh, here, okay, chat. Oh, sorry, thank you, Daphne. I saw someone, I'm gonna have to close this, or can I do both? Well, let's see if I can do both. I see why first picture to sea turtle, very good. I had written down two things, ocean and shark, very good. So whoever picked up the ocean, and it could be a shark, right? Like it's kind of the same thing. I had movement, waves, warm swirls, black and white, very good. So the black and white, of course, that's the colors of that whale. Rocks, water, lighthouse, bridge, very good. Because of course, you might, with the rocks and the water and the lighthouse and the bridge, there could be a lighthouse and a bridge and rocks and water in that scene. Like say I'm looking at that whale, maybe behind the photographer could have been those things. So sometimes you could be picking up stuff. I get those two, same here, great fun. Now I see what, yeah, perfect. Well, you guys, look at you guys doing so well. And even like, it's kind of, you know, you're looking at basically so I like that, and I'm glad I remember that aspect. It just popped in my head. Like you can actually look to a time when you're going to have the answer. Like if you don't know the answer to something, you look to the time in the future when you're going to get the answer. You see the answer. So that you could do that not just for remote viewing, but for other things too. It can get a bit trickier, especially if you have a lot of desire to know an answer. But in these cases, it's kind of the desire is a little less because there's no real stakes in this. Like it's just for fun, if that makes sense. So I'll stop sharing that. But good on you guys. So we're just hitting the hour now. So I'm really glad we got the kept time. Hopefully you guys understand a little bit more, feel a little bit more confident in your awareness of what you can pick up on. This is just meant as a fun introduction, but you know, maybe I'll hold another one of these again if you guys want. Who knows?
Please, please.
I'm
Yeah.
intrigued. Hi, Elizabeth. I'm intrigued of what am I actually picking up?
Information.
Okay.
Yeah.
So information that you are sending out or that the object is saying. So what is the difference between that and a wild guess?
Well, because it's a bit trickier, I think, because the things that the people are coming up with seem quite specific to the thing, if that makes sense. You know, wild guesses would be like they wouldn't probably be quite
Bunny
as
rabbit.
close, if that makes sense. It's almost like statistically, the things that everyone was kind of sharing were statistically quite impossible to just wild guess, if that makes sense. I think if we're kind of looking at everything that exists in the universe in regards to colors, shapes, forms, and textures, and feeling and sound, everyone was pretty, for the people that shared and the ones I saw in the chat, seemed pretty darn close to what was actually there. So,
and that is what, and that is what, that's what I understand, because I also got immediately a big wide ocean with the last picture.
So you're probably thinking, well, how are you doing that? Well, the thing, and this is what excites me when I go, oh, everything is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. You have a consciousness in a body. Cats and dogs do. Trees and plants do. The earth does. Everything is emitting information and energy and frequency. And we pick up on those. And there's a lot more energy and frequency. Like we get a bandwidth of about this much for light, sound, color. But then there's huge amounts of frequency, like radio waves that we can measure, microwaves, internet, 4G, 5G, whatever waves. But there's even other stuff that we probably don't physically can measure, but we're bathed in information and consciousness, but we're focusing on a limited amount just so we can kind of function. But with exercises like this, we're kind of saying, oh, you know what, I'm going to just check out something over there and just look at it for a second and see what I can get. And I think what this remote viewing is, I'm hoping it helps people understand, is that we are way more than just little trapped spirits in a little body rushing around trying to make bank until we retire and then hopefully live a couple of years to enjoy it. We're a whole lot more than that. And so this is just like a little introductory thing, but and some of you, I know are energy workers or do healing or do kinesiology or you do all sorts of things. So or you do CE5s. So you're already expanding your awareness probably quite on a frequent basis. But it's just kind of showing you it's useful and it's practical, and you can hone it in and fine tune it for whatever purpose you need. So this is just a little kind of fun exercise, but honestly, I have a feeling even the people who didn't share, you would have had things that you were quite surprised you got. That how could you know that? Because you're not just your ears and eyes and nose and mouth. You're a consciousness that's sitting in this body for a little while, but you go out at night when you're dreaming, who knows what else you're picking up on and scooting around doing, even when you're waking hours. Some of us, I think, we are very multidimensional is one thing I think I really want to share. We've got a lot of different aspects of ourselves, not just in 3D, but 5D, 7D. We've got our higher self, which is like an aspect that's very close to source energy, or God, whatever you want to call that. We're so connected to everything, but we've been so misled. So that's why I really felt the need to share little things like this. And I'll probably do a little workshop pretty soon in regards to working with pendulum, muscle testing, and also just like using your body as a yes/no, so we can ascertain some answers. Because I think this is like the most important time now on the planet where we need to not be hoodwinked by anything else, whether it's the media or anyone else telling us anything. We need to be able to find out the truth and answers for ourselves. And there is a lot of truth out there, but we got to figure out if that's the truth or not. Like, it's a lot of information coming at us. Mel?
I just thought, if it's okay, I might say something that helps people as well.
Please.
The last exercise, I think we were primarily working psychically. So we were working to literally pull something out of your head.
Yeah.
As opposed
I felt it too. I could feel it, but you're all very respectful, I gotta say. But I could feel the energy around me. I was like, "Ooh, I better get myself a little more grounded and get more focused."
Yeah, so you would
nice.
feel everyone tuning into your head, and also our brains try and make the information fit what we're seeing. So, for example, and this might help some of the other people who shared, when I saw the sea, I then saw a waterfall, but the waterfall didn't make sense in the sea. So then I was taken to a scene with trees and like a scene where a waterfall would be more possible. Mm-hmm. So I had two pictures side by side. One was off the sea and one was off a kind of foresty area where the waterfall was the primary feature. So I knew that I was seeing a waterfall, but it didn't make sense with the sea. So I was my brain adds a scene where a waterfall would make sense, and people who see the play, their brain might add children or something
Yes.
else. That's the add-ons that we put in there to try and make sense of something that we're seeing that doesn't make sense necessarily in the picture.
Yeah.
I
Beautiful,
just thought
Mel.
that might be helpful.
Well, and interesting, and too, like it's like, so what is that aspect of yourself that's giving you that extra little hint that took you to the waterfall? Is it your higher self? Is it some spirit guides that you work with? I know Daphne, she was getting a lot of words, and I know Daphne works with spirit guides and healing guides and angels, perhaps. So she's used to getting like words, whereas, and so they're giving her hints. They're like, oh, children, joy. Like they're giving her little hints. Yeah,
that's
so
right. And then you're pulling
of,
information mediumistically from other realms and dimensions.
Yeah, so if you're
yeah,
a person that works, if you're a person that
that's
is
right.
comfortable and works with guidance during sessions for people, you're going to get that. But say if you're more logically like, well, I don't believe in angels or guides, but then you get little like a hint, like they're giving you little hints. It could be a higher aspect of yourself, or just the universe. Like the universe is a very loving and helpful and encouraging place. Like I know some days it might not feel like that, but it really doesn't want you to kind of move ahead and keep going and, you know, keep trying. So good on. Thank you, Mel. That was really beautiful. I like that. Thanks for that, expanding on that.
But thank you so much. That was really fun. And
I'm
if you
so
did another one of
pleased.
these, they're
Oh
really
yeah,
good
well,
to
I totally
from around the
could.
world.
Yeah, I totally would. I'll do one of these again. I'll make one next month sometime. And then I will do and I'll make it free too, because I really feel it's fun. I'll have to think of some new things. Or you know what, I might even have some people bring some things. Who knows? We'll see. I'll get creative in my thinking cap for the next one. But does anybody else have any comments they want to share before we go? Because I think we just finished. We're a little bit over time now, but does anybody else want to share anything else before we go?
I want to say, so go ahead, John.
No, you first.
I was just going to say thank you, Elizabeth.
Oh, my pleasure.
To say thank you.
Oh, my
Thank
pleasure,
you so
everyone.
much.
You're all so lovely.
Thank you, Elizabeth. That was fun.
My pleasure. It was so great to see everybody here and feel your energy. And yeah, is there anybody else that has any more comments before we go? Or questions?
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
Okay. You know, like with it's slightly unrelated, but you know, like with telepathy, and you would have a transmitter, a person who would send out a message, and a receiver, a person who would receive it. Could you have a transceiver, somebody who sends out and receives?
Oh yeah, like we're doing that right now with conversation. I think if you've had experience with telepathy, it's kind of like like it's kind of like a conversation, and it's actually sometimes even quicker than words. I think like for instance, like if you're a healer like Daphne or myself, you're working with spirit, you get so much information fast backward and forward. You're asking questions, they're answering, and you're spitting it out at the same time. That's telepathic. Or if you're working C5 with other beings of off planet, extraterrestrial, which John does, it's the kind of the same thing. It's like a quick conversation sometimes, or it's images, or it's I think we're both, because I think if you're only one, maybe just an aspect is a bit shut down in a person. Like say someone's deaf, they're not a receiver of audio, but they can make the sound, if that makes sense. But I think in general, energetically, we're transceiver receivers at the same time. But I think in the beginning, or if you're doing something that's kind of different or tricky, you might do one thing at a time, like receive, okay, and then send. You know what I mean? It might be that like that. It just depends on like what you're dealing with, what your experience is, and you know what you're feeling. Because sometimes if you're feeling crappy one day, you're not going to be a good. Like if you're, you know, a couple of days ago, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I'm not doing the workshop 3 days ago, because I was really tired, not feeling good. I thought, oh, so I was like, yay today. You know? So you want to kind of, it depends on, you know, if you're not feeling good, you can't really perform as well as if you are feeling clear and happy and well hydrated, let's say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good question, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Anybody else have any more questions? Okay, well, You beautiful people. It was real fun. I so enjoyed it. And it sounds like some of you guys did too. So I wish you guys all the best. I'll keep you if you want to get on my email list just to keep up with any of these free offerings I'm having, please just send me an email. If you haven't already, if I've emailed you the information, I have your email and I'll put it on an email list. But if you haven't sent an email and you want to be on it, please send me an email. And other than that, I wish you guys a great day. And please share this information. Try it with your friends, you know, like, or your family. It's just like, we should be, you know, I think humanity's stepping into a new kind of pair of pants. Let me just say, there's a bigger pair of pants with more, we're going to be using more of our, you know, subtle senses and our telepathy. And I'd like to just kind of get people ready for that, because we're stepping into a bigger role, I think, within the planet and you know, the bigger picture of things. So good on you guys for stepping up today, and keep doing what you're doing, keep shining your light, and you know, keep on keeping on.
Can I please tell everybody, Miss Elizabeth, to have a magical day?
Oh, thanks, Daphne. Yes, same to everybody. Yeah, everybody have a great one, and I'm sure we'll meet again for another one of these. Okay, all the best.
Thank
you.
Bye.
Have a great day.
Stop the recording. Do you want to